How many of you know about Nadia Kijiji? Yeah, some of you do. Well, Nadia is very important, I think, because she brings up the issue to us, something we had never thought of. In my day, I would have never imagined this, okay? But this is what is going on today. Nadia was an 18-year-old student who in March of 2008 committed suicide. Now you'd say, okay, she committed suicide. Is there something new about this? Well, she died because she met a person on the internet who was a suicide predator who urged her to commit suicide. She was going through deep depression. She was thinking of suicide. But how uncommon is that for a first-year student to be going through depression and to be thinking of suicide? Sadly, it's not that uncommon. I'm not saying everybody feels that way, but quite a few people do, actually. And so what she did, she was seeking help on the internet. She was on this site dealing, or this what do you call it when they talk to each other, in a chat room, talking about her depression. And this guy was combing the chat rooms to find somebody like a Nadia, and he set up. I'll show you him. There he is, nice looking guy. He set up a suicide pact with her. Of course, he wasn't intending to commit suicide. He wanted her to commit suicide in front of her webcam. That's what he wanted. So this is a very, weird person, right? This is a person who's got a mental problem. She went ahead and committed suicide, but of course, she didn't do it in front of the webcam. She did kill herself by drowning, which is sad. Nonetheless, he urged her to do so. The concept of an internet suicide predator is very weird indeed, but nonetheless, it exists. And there's more than just him out there who are involved in this. He's now been tied to at least 5 suicides, where he did the same thing, and they're always the same idea. He tries to convince them to hang themselves in front of their webcam. That's what he wants to do. And actually, if you do a Google search, you'll actually see that there's some people who have actually killed themselves by hanging in front of their webcam. The question is, did he have anything to do with it? Right? Anyway, if you were to eliminate the section 241 of the Criminal Code or rewrite it in the way that Francine Lalonde wants to, could you protect someone from a William Melker Dinkle? The answer is no. So there are issues that we can work on to help create a greater social barrier to euthanasia, assisted suicide. There's lots of issues around this. When you think about assisted suicide, the law is actually not designed to restrict you. The law is designed to protect vulnerable people. When you look at the wording of section 241 of the Criminal Code, it's clearly designed to protect vulnerable people. And to say that, oh, well, now we should be allowing assisted suicide and we should rewrite this law, well, what does that mean for people who are going through significant depression? I think the society will find that we need to protect vulnerable people. We cannot afford to lose this battle. So we're working on clear themes. I want you to understand this is not about medical treatment issues. It's about lethal injection. You have to think about these things and understand. When you say to somebody, and someone says, oh yes, my aunt greatly suffered. And you can understand, okay, this person supports euthanasia, assisted suicide because they had an aunt or something, who greatly suffered. And I can understand that. Okay? I can understand. And actually, even more so, I can understand Stephen Fletcher, member of Parliament from Winnipeg, who's a quadriplegic man, who says that he would consider being involved voting in favor of euthanasia in certain circumstances because of the suffering he experienced. And I can understand that. But let's think about this. Let's think about this clearly, because now you're talking about laws which affect all of us. All of us. No, I think we have to understand that we need to care for people and not kill them. Our themes are based on looking at the vulnerable person and what it's about. People who are younger may not have experienced a lot of death and dying in their life, and it's harder to understand. But we have to also understand how other people with disabilities, other vulnerable people, how they're affected by this. Let's go further to this. If you consider the case of someone with, let's say, several years ago, this man in Windsor, his name was Austin Bastable. He had multiple sclerosis, which I think now is actually going to be cured. I think that's what we just learned. MS. Did you guys hear about that? MS is going to be cured? Actually, what they're saying makes total sense. In the MS case, they're going to open up the veins, let the blood flow better, and guess what? The brain, it works a lot better that way. It makes sense to me. Anyway, Austin Bastable had MS, and he went to Jack Kevorkian and died by Jack Kevorkian. He was Kevorkian. Sadly, When Austin Bastable did that, how did that affect other people with MS? We have to put this in perspective. We need to be organized, we need to be unified, and then we need to grow. We're counting on you. We need to build an effective coalition. That's what we're working on. We need everything. So what are our messages?